Hello everybody and welcome back to Grandview Entertainment. My name is Ryan and in today's video I'll be giving you my review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I just saw the movie yesterday and I wanted to give myself a couple of hours to really sit with the film and try to get my thoughts on the movie. I am a huge Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man is not only my favorite superhero but possibly my favorite fictional character. So a Spider-Man movie means a lot to me, but that also means I'm a little bit more nitpicky when it comes to a Spider-Man movie. And there are a lot of things I do really love about this movie. There are a few things I'm mixed on, but without further ado, let's dive right into the review. Overall, I really enjoyed Spider-Man Brand New Day, and in so many ways, this is the MCU Spider-Man movie I have been waiting for a long time. A lot of great things in this movie. However, like I did say, there are some issues I did have with the movie. But those are unfortunately more spoiler heavy, so I'll be talking about those later in the video. But first, I'll start with the positives. Starting with the positives. The biggest positive for me in this movie is Tom Holland's performance as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, as I believe this is his best performance as this character that he's been playing now for a decade. And for me personally, I am a fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. He is my second favorite Spider-Man, and I think he's done a great job as the character. And I think for people who have always liked Tom Holland like I have as Spider-Man, they're going to enjoy this. And I think for a lot of them as well, like me, they will think this is his best performance as the character. But the big thing, too, is I think for people who were not as much of a fan of his previous Spider-Man movies, I think they will enjoy his performance the most here, definitely, as well, as he really embodies the character that we all have been waiting to see from him. He's obviously alone. He's on his own, fighting crime in New York City. And he's great at it. He's just great as his character. And I loved him in the movie. And then we get to the acting, the rest of the acting across the board. Zendaya and Jacob Batalon returning as MJ and Ned. They are really good in this movie as well. And, obviously carrying over from No Way Home, I think it's very different, their performances, than the previous movies. It's something that we haven't seen from them. And I think this might be my favorite portrayal from both of them. I don't know, I have to really think about it a little bit more, but they were both great in this movie. And, there were a lot of worries when they were announced they were going to be returning. But I definitely would say they were definitely great additions to this movie. And it was great to see them back as their characters. And then the new additions to this cast, Jon Bernthal and Sadie Sink. Jon Bernthal, obviously, has been the Punisher for so long. He knows how to play that character, and he worked really well in the movie. And Sadie Sink, as her mystery character, she was also really great as well. Now getting into the action, web swinging, and cinematography. This is easily the best of all those we've seen in the MCU. I know that's definitely been a critique for some people. And I will definitely say they fixed a lot of that stuff here. And a lot of that credit goes to Dustin Daniel Cretton, who did a great job at directing this movie. And like I said, not only is this action, web swing, and cinematography the best of the Tom Holland movies, but it could possibly be the best of the entire franchise, including the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But especially the POV shots that were very reminiscent of those Amazing Spider-Man movies. So great to see them back. I love when we get the POV of Spider-Man swinging through the city, and we get a few of those in this movie. And that definitely was some of the great aspects in the movie, as this feels different from the other Spider-Man movies, as we have a more mature tone. And I think that kind of shows how much this version of Peter Parker has evolved from not only the last movie we've seen him in, but just previous movies. This is a new iteration of the character, and I definitely feel like the tone was a little more darker, and not dark by any means. It's still an MCU movie, but it's a little bit more serious when it needs to be. And you could definitely feel that this is, while the same character, you can tell that he's been through a lot. This is not the same Spider-Man from Homecoming and Far From Home, and even the beginning of No Way Home. This feels a lot more to the version we saw at the end of No Way Home. But even then, he feels even more mature, obviously, because now it's been 4 years since. So it's great to see that this is still, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but somehow he's evolving with the character, and it's the same character, but different in a lot of senses. And I think that obviously, like I said, goes to Dustin Daniel Cretton. He did a great job directing this movie and bringing a new tone to it. And at the same time, the acting all around the board was great. Now getting into more of my mixed aspects of this movie, I don't have any outright negatives, but there's a few things I really am a little twisted on. I want to see how, with time, I feel about it. The villain, who I won't reveal for spoiler reasons, is a very interesting choice, but also a very confusing choice for a Spider-Man movie. And that being said, the actor gives a really strong performance, and I think it works in the movie. But as a Spider-Man fan, I was a little confused by the choice. And also, this movie has so many things going on, which I do want to give the movie credit for. Because despite how many different storylines and different characters it has, it's juggling and how many it's got going on, it feels like there's a lot of things going on in this movie. It somehow never feels overstuffed, which I think is incredible, like I said, with so many things going on. But everything just gets the right amount of screen time and it gets the right amount of time it needs, and it all fits in seamlessly in the movie. And that goes along too with the pacing, which actually would probably be more of a positive thing. But this movie is just as long as it needed to be. I don't think it overstays its welcome by a minute, like by a second. It's the perfect length it needed to be, everything it had to juggle, and I think that is truly an incredible feat. But with a little bit more mixed aspect is the more villain, the choice that they decided to go with confused me a little bit. And though like I said, it's paced well, and they juggle a lot of stuff, with this movie, with all the different characters and stuff, they do juggle it really well. I want to be clear about that, but there is a lot going on. So throughout this movie, you do always feel like there's always something going on that can kind of throw you through it a little bit. But more mixed. I don't want to say it's negative, because they do balance the things really well. But I'm definitely a little bit mixed on some of these things. Now I'm going to be getting into spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'm going to throw up the big spoiler sign. Spoilers are coming for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm going to put the timestamp of where to skip to if you want to just get to my score. But like I said again, spoilers are coming for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like I said, final spoiler warning. But now, getting into the spoilers, it is now official that Sadie Sink was playing Jean Grey. And while I think she is the perfect casting for this role, and I am very excited to see her future in the MCU. And when that reveal did happen, I was really excited. But for me, I am a little confused that her first appearance in the MCU starts off with her playing a villain in a Spider-Man movie. Very odd choice, in my opinion. And on top of that, the movie's eventual main villain, I believe, ends up just being the Department of Damage Control, which is kind of lame. But like I said, I don't hate it. And the whole, Jean Grey and Sadie Sink as Jean Grey was really great. But it was a little confusing. And like I said, the Department of Damage Control being the main villain was also just kind of a little weak. I don't really know, I guess, how they decided to choose this, obviously. But my gut feeling would be, I guess, after Spider-Man No Way Home, obviously they used all of their main villains. So they may have just been not sure who to use for this movie. And so they go with the story, which I think is a great story. And that's why I don't consider it a negative. I'm just a little bit more confused and mixed on this is what the one they decided to go with. Because the story they go with is great. And, her story is great. And even the Department of Damage Control being revealed as the villain is great. In the sense of it's well written. But for me as a Spider-Man fan, obviously I like to see Spider-Man villains. He's such a big rogues gallery. And for them to obviously make, an X-Men character the main villain, an X-Men hero for the most part, a villain in a Spider-Man movie, and as that's her first appearance, it was a little confusing. Like I said, I'm going to rewatch it and see how maybe I turn more positive or negative on it, but right now I'm a little bit confused and a little bit mixed on it. but I definitely don't hate it, and I kind of understand after No Way Home why they maybe decided to go more in this way. It is truly a brand new day for Spider-Man. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you for checking out this video and checking out my channel, Grandview Entertainment. As always, if you could please like and subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of exciting content on the way. More movie reviews, more movie talks, and movie ideas that I would like to share with you guys. So as always, like I said, please like and subscribe. And thank you for checking out my channel, and I will see you in the next video.